I enjoyed this project a lot more than I did with their 2022 release, which I thought was a little bit lacking in some areas, especially because of my enjoyment of their 2017 release, but I thought that this album was so much better in quality and music architecture. I love the endeavors into clean vocals on the songs like Face of Fear that are just so interwovenly mixed with great screaming, similar to bands like Invent Animate, but still retaining the great death metal fusions that Enterprise Earth are so well known for in my eyes. Most definitely exceeded my expectations for this new project. This album, I believe, had a lot more potential to be so much better. Despite the indie alt-pop star having a couple of solid tracks on this digital Heartifacts project, and having pretty decent vocal performance, the songs in the latter half of the album feel a little bit too unoriginal. I do like a lot of the more electronic bass sounds on the album like PMO and Worship, and even the songs where her vocals shine more through with Push It Down or Placeholder. I still want to continue to see what she continues to release in the future. This art rock project is a very divine listen. Sometimes it's great to just hear so many people who are so musically gifted collaborate, and I think that's what draws me to this project, similar to a band such as Black Country New Road. The symphonies, the harmonies, the instrumentals, heavenly vocals that send me to space every time I hear it. There's so much to love about this piece of music, not to mention the tempo change on Caesar on a TV screen is such a flawless transition. I can go on forever about this thing.
I made another million, boy. Sliding on a block is ghost town, they is not outside. I've been on that
ass. Personally, this album just doesn't appeal to me, but I do have to appreciate the mix of dark blues and electronic music that Chelsea Wolfe has created here. Her vocals are wonderful and are really the highlight of the album for me. I don't think I will return to it just for the fact that it seems a little bit too empty in structure, even though the songs are wonderfully written.
Fix myself, but nothing works. I sing the song and you didn't like the words.
I was not familiar with the singer-songwriter, and I thought that this album was a wonderful mix and a lot of a great variety in genres in the songs. Songs can vary from psychedelic rock, dream pop, glam rock, indie rock, just a lot of mixes that Declan makes his own sound with. Declan likes to utilize a lot of self-referential lyrics to relate to his heartbreak or frustration, and I think the emotion that he carries with the vocals are very human, and I'm glad to say that I chose to listen to this.
Making them suffer. If she not my bitch, then I don't really trust her. They act like they cool, but they don't really love us. Fuck them. Go to the hood and they get...
I feel conflicted because the last time that I rated one of Fivio's albums, I gave it the same score, and that was because the songs were strong, but there was just a lot of filler, which in turn made the album weaker. Pain and Love 2 I feel the same on, because even though I enjoy Fivio's 2021 endeavor so much more, this album is half of the length, and the 4 songs I liked out of 10 are some of Fivio's lower tier songs in my opinion. Who Knew, No Love with Vori, 24 with Meek Mill, and Waiting with Chef G are pretty solid songs in the sphere of this project, however. Moldovan progressive metal has never looked so bright without Infected Rain. I reviewed Odysseus 2 years ago and thought that it was okay. Not their best album, but it was pretty solid. This album has improved Infected Rain's sound even more. Lena Scissorhands' vocals have never sounded so much clearer and harsher at the same time, able to maneuver with vocals going into an aggressive vocal fry to a soaring clean high vocal, and it's just so impressive. The instrumentals themselves are also slamming regardless of whatever song you listen to. Not a lot to say about this one, it's just a solid deathcore release from some of the hottest in the metal scene at the moment. Vocals are insane, breakdowns and slam fills are fucking awesome, and the full arrangement of music presented by the last 10 Seconds of Life is just more than impressive. I was not familiar with this post-hardcore band until I saw that they were opening for Our Last Night, and after hearing Blood in the Water, Colorblind, and Hourglass, I was excited to see a full project. Philip Strand's vocals are almost like built for pop music, but his mix in the post-hardcore is almost like a post-hardcore sound of a band such as the Home Team. The songs have so many catchy choruses mixed along with unique instrumentals for some alt-rock songs. Definitely a great album to fill you with dopamine, which I'm pretty sure was the point. Not to mention how Serotonin has basically been on my playlist for the past like 3 weeks.
Hey, mama downstairs yelling up that I'ma be late just to realize that all of this was a bad dream, so I can...
I am disappointed and my day has been ruined. I loved Nothing Nowhere's Void Eternal, which was his endeavor into post-hardcore and heavier music, but holy shit, Dark Magic is so much worse than anything he's put out. The rapping is awkward throughout. I thought maybe that this album would be a full rap album just because of what I mentioned before, But no, there's still genre mixes on here, and with the album being dropped on such a short notice, and I can definitely tell that this thing was rushed and not at all ready. The beats are also really basic as well, which Nothing Nowhere does have some kind of good lines and flows on these songs, but it's really wasted.
A-town girl, yeah, she be riding in a foreign, but she hate to drive. It's alright.
A lot of outdated R&B that also includes a weird interpolation of Uptown Girl with A-Town Girl featuring Lotto. The song that really stands out is Risk It All with Her, but that song was made for the movie The Color Purple. I wish that we got Usher actually just not talking about fucking girls and then keeping it undercover.
Turn the lights off so we can hit it again.
I fell in love with the songwriting of Crawlers, as they represent a lot of the people my age who may have complicated lives, and the songs really put a vulnerable display of how much love can do to someone in many different ways. Get it from meaningless sex, or feeling the love while being intoxicated with Hit It Again. Would You Come to My Funeral is also exactly what it sounds like. And with the album's namesake, it's a mess, but we're working through it, and I somehow find catharsis in this concept. French Montana dropped an album. This is my first look into Idol's music, and I always knew that they were some sort of post-punk / punk rock fusion band, and I thought that TANGK was a very fun listen. Even though the album has this droning about it throughout the whole time, the vocals and other instrumentals just sink you in and distract you, and without that little bit of character, the album is just as vibrant and ambitious than you'd think. Masterfully crafted, and I thought it was a great first time listen for me into Idols. I will be honest, I am not the biggest fan of Yeat's music, even though I will agree in the realm of Cardicore, Yeat is one of the more enjoyable artists for me, even though sometimes he does sound goofy as hell on this song. Keep Pushing is a good example of that. But I can also see why it adds so much character to the songs. His world building is actually very well made. I feel like if you don't dive too deep into this, you may enjoy it a little bit more, but I will say that 2093 sounds like you're on a spaceship throughout, some almost lo-fi rap in the background over their alien subwoofers. Allie X puts out music that is best described as goth pop. A lot of the songs are similar in structure to pop songs of today, but Allie X turns that sound on its head with using more sinister chords, with her vocals bringing out the light in the songs, and not to mention how catchy these songs are as well. Girl with No Face, Off With Her Tits, Black Eyed, Truly Dreams, and Galena, especially Galena, that song is probably a top 5 pop song for me. Trying to describe Jazmin Bean's sound is a mix of like pop metal, grunge, hyperpop, electronic core, alternative pop. My best way of describing it, imagine if Avril Lavigne from 2002, but she released Let Go in 2024. Emotional vocals throughout, great vocal performances as well, with all of the unique mixes of songs and how terrific they blend all together in the album as a whole. Songs like this and this run of songs from Terrified to Best Junkie You Adore is probably one of the best runs I've heard from an album this year. I got to catch these guys open for Polaris back in October, and their eastern mix of metalcore, which is similar to bands such as Crystal Lake or Sim, was really interesting to hear live. I got to listen to some of the songs from the project before they dropped, and despite the crowd not being too into it, I think I wanted to give them another try. I felt like this album was just way too short and really needed more material, even though I thought it was jam-packed full of craziness throughout. The indie rock / emo duo Remo Drive dropped their first project in 4 years, and after hearing Greatest Hits, I didn't know how they could follow up after the somewhat lukewarm reception of their 2020 album. Mercy is full of great songs and performances with a touch of gentleness added on the top of already comforting sound. It's not my favorite thing from Remo Drive, but hey, I'll show it some mercy.